Hey everyone, welcome to headphone.ph YouTube channel, and today we have a headphone from Focal, which is the Focal Spirit Classic. This headphone is a full-size sealed headphone that retails for $399. Originally released in 2014, and it used to be the flagship model of Focal when they were first doing their headphones. It has been superseded by the Eliers, the Utopia, and the Clear Stellia since then. It's still available on their website, but I'm not sure if it's actually still being sold from their website. From what I know, it's still being sold on Amazon and other like online sites for $250 street price, which is substantial drop from the original price. So I've owned this headphone since 2017, so I've had this for 3 years now, which makes this review a very valid long-term review. Let's start off with the packaging. It comes with this pretty standard cardboard box, which is quite nice because the box itself is can function as a storage case with the padding and all those things. And then the accessorization is quite decent as well. It comes with this standard short cable for portable use with an inline remote and microphone. It also comes with a longer 10-foot cable for home mic. It's got the 1/4-inch adapter and a pouch that is for storing the headphone and transporting it. The build quality of this headphone is pretty good, and the look, I very much like the look of this headphone. It to me doesn't scream like the typical teenager headphones, which is very like loud and loud, I guess is the appropriate description. It's made of plastic, but I thought that it is well built, even though it's made of plastic. The headband padding is synthetic leather. It's enough. It covers the entire headband, so it's fairly comfortable. The ear pads are also likewise made of synthetic leather, which is very plush. Before we begin, I'd like to address the elephant in the room, which is actually the reports of people where the headband is cracking on them, and it's not just a single or a couple reports. It's widely reported, and it seems like the culprit is the material used in the headband mechanism and the lack of reinforcement in it. So what happens is the more you use it, and I guess if you're not careful, you're gonna end up snapping this part of the headphone. For me, I've as I said, I've owned this for 3.5 years, and I haven't experienced the issue. Although I can see some like cracking, like minor lines here, even though I'm not really using it like as often as say someone who just has this headphone as his own headphone. So definitely something to consider if you want to buy this headphone. It's to me a very disappointing like report, and it should definitely factor in when you buy this headphone. In terms of passive noise isolation, I find that the headphone is slightly on the average side, even below average. It's not a like, even though it looks like a portable headphone, it's more of a home listening headphone. So I think in that case, the lack of good passive noise isolation is fine. Comfort-wise, it's fairly comfortable, but one thing you have to consider or look into is the small ear pads. So it fits my ears just fine, as you can see. However, a lot of people complain about how the ear pads are so small. To some of them, it makes it an on-ear headphones. And even if it's an over-ear headphone, because it's so small and it kind of clamps, it becomes uncomfortable if you have large ears. Sound signature is neutral with a hint of warmth and relaxed overall signature. So what that means is that the headphone, unlike the typical neutral, which is sometimes bright and edgy, but it's the Focal Classic is actually the opposite of that, where it's neutral but it's slightly warm. Starting off with the bass, I find the bass to be well extended and it kind of punches hard, like I guess like most Focal headphones. It's got that good slam because it's using a dynamic driver. It doesn't bleed into the mid-range, which is quite nice. Moving on to the mid-range, it's very it's very integrated, so the mid-range sounds quite lush and it's very good for vocals without being too thick like some of the more euphonic headphones. I wouldn't describe this headphone as euphonic sounding in that area. So going into the upper mid-range and the treble area, it goes a little lower relative to the bass and the lower mid-range and just the middle mid-range. And as a result, the presence region is slightly lower in level, slightly relaxed, but it's far from the typical recessed treble where it sounds very dull. With the Spirit Classic, it actually sounds very good. The highs have good clarity, good sparkle, and more importantly, it doesn't have that like peaky sibilance, high frequencies that some of the similar price over-ear headphones have. The Soundstage is fairly average because it's a sealed headphone. I don't think you're gonna mistake it as an open headphone. If you're coming from, say, Audio-Technica M50X, I don't think this is much of an upgrade as far as sound staging goes. Imaging is pretty decent for a sealed headphone because of the relatively smooth high frequencies and a linear bass to mid-range, and just the overall like cohesiveness of the frequency response. I did find it to image well. It doesn't have a quick like transient response because of its relaxed signatures. I find that the notes are more rounded than say the MSR7 or the Odyssey Sign headphones, which are like have faster decay and stuff like that. But for for what it's worth and for the type of headphone that it is, I think it has good imaging. This headphone is fairly efficient. You can run it off your portable devices and laptop and desktop computers just fine. I did try to use it most of the time with an amp called the Oni P1. It did improve its sound a little, I feel, but as a whole, the signature is not going to change much if you're not using an amp. Do I recommend this headphone? If you're purely after its sonic characteristics, I think that for the street price of $200, $250, it's a good buy. A lot of the reviewers previously even gave the recommendation at its original price point of $399. I feel at $250, it's a bargain almost, purely from the sonic characteristic side of things. However, as I mentioned, the build issues that have been reported by a lot of users is definitely concerning. That's something that you have to figure out for yourself. I don't know if there's a lot of these available on traditional brick and mortar stores for you to try out. But if you're worried about build quality as well as the ear cups being so small that it becomes an on-ear, then definitely, consider that. And if you're not comfortable with those two things working out well for you, then you can cross this out from the list. And that's about it for this review. Do you own the Focal Spirit Classic or even its sibling, the Spirit Professional? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you agree with me on this headphone, feel free to sound off in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe for more content like this, and visit headphone.ph for the text version of this review and for more headphone articles. I'll see you guys next time.